What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in the video. This time we'll be talking about young phenom, Luka Doncic. And Luka right now is in his second ever playoff series versus the LA Clippers at 21 years old. And so far in Luka's short playoff career, he's been a walking 30-10-10 and been an absolute nightmare for the LA Clippers. Now as you guys know, Luka has an extremely bright future, and at his absolute peak, he could be the best player in the NBA. Now for many young superstars and many young players, when it comes to the playoffs, they have some type of a learning curve. Now for Luka, he's a rare case, but there has been really no learning curve and no drop-off from playoff production compared to the regular season. And today I'm going to explain to you guys why Luka Doncic is nearly impossible to guard when it comes to playoffs. Now before I get into that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so, and if you could like this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. So that being said, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about with Luka Doncic and his great playoff play is how dominant he is in the pick and roll. Now if you looked at the film Luka in the pick and roll, he can drive to the basket, he can finish over, around, or through big men, he can take players out to the perimeter and hit the outside jump shot, he can bait defenders and pull them out to find the open jump shooter, or if he has to, he can hit the step back three or the pull up side step three. And Luka is a very unique player who has all the tools to be a great offensive player, and you see those tools on display every single night when it comes to the pick and roll. And the one thing I want to focus on really quickly is how great a scorer Luka is out of the pick and roll. If you look to the numbers this year, Luka is averaging 13.3 points per game in the pick and roll. That ranks second in the NBA, and he averages 1.01 points per possession. That also ranks third in the NBA behind Steph Curry, James Harden, and Damian Lillard. And he's doing all that while shooting 49.1% from the field, which is also up there with the best players in the league. And Luka's great scoring ability makes him a threat every single night in the pick and roll, which in return demands tremendous respect from the defense and tremendous attention, which helps his teammates because Luka is also a great passer out of the pick and roll. Out of the pick and roll, Luka can find shooters in the corners, he can make the very difficult cross-court pass across his body, and also he can find the pick and roll man for the easy two, whether that be Porzingis or Dwight Powell. And the rare combination of being a great scorer and a great passer has defenses worried and scratching their heads. And if you are a very good defensive team like the LA Clippers, who Luka has dominated so far, you really have to wonder what can you do to stop this guy when it comes to the offensive end. And the truth is, you're really at the mercy of one Luka Doncic, as the help defenders on the weak side as well as the strong side have to be very honest and very respectful when it comes to Luka, and they can't sag off their man too much or Luka will find them for the wide open jumper. Now also on the flip side of that, with the players playing so tight on their man, that gives Luka tremendous space to get at the rim and finish at the basket, which he can do very effectively. And also coming out of that, the roll man has more space to finish at the basket through very little contact. So really in summary, Luka's pick and roll action, being a great scorer, feeds into his passing, which in the end helps his teammates get wide open threes or easy baskets at the rim. Now the last thing I want to talk about Luka in the pick and roll is how he uses his body to shield players, where he can finish at the rim or the step back mid-range jumper. And that is one of many tools Luka has, but when watching the tape, that's one thing that stood out that is really unguardable for someone like Luka, who's 6'8" and extremely skilled and extremely versatile. Now moving on from the pick and roll, I want to look at how Luka deals with double teams, which versus the LA Clippers, he has seen a lot in his short playoff career. And one of the big mistakes LA made, not only this year, but also in 2020, is putting Patrick Beverley on Luka. Now I do have respect for Pat Bev as being a very hard-nosed player, but let's put it very simply, he cannot guard Luka. That's a terrible matchup. So with that being the case, Luka is doubled routinely by this Clippers team, one of the biggest mistakes you can make versus Luka. As like I said before, the Mavericks offense is run solely through Luka, and when you double team, he has the basketball IQ and the overall ability to make very difficult passes to find shooters like Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway, or Jalen Brunson. And when those three guys are making their shots, the Dallas Mavericks are nearly impossible to guard. And one of my theories of why Luka is already a great playoff performer is because defenses in the playoffs, as well as the regular season, always double team. If you look at the stats from this year, Luka faced 27.2 doubles per game. That was the most in the NBA, and he was doubled 45.5% of the time. That is second in the league. And out of those double teams, he averaged 1.21 points per possession, which ranks third in the NBA. So with Luka facing doubles routinely every single night, that is in a weird way prepared him for the playoffs. And versus the LA Clippers team, he has no problem picking them apart and finding his open shooters. Now the last offensive skill I want to talk about with Luka is how he's a great driver to the basket. And like you guys know, Luka is a pretty average athlete for NBA standards. His size is really the only advantage he has, which he uses tremendously when driving to the basket. And especially with smaller defenders, he can hold them off or just simply finish over them. But if it comes to a big man or a mismatch, Luka also has no problem versus those players. Someone like Zubac has absolutely no chance of stopping Luka. He can hit him with a quick hezzy, a little misdirection, a little Euro step, and it'll be lost in the wind, and Luka will have an easy layup. And even versus the elite defenders like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, Luka seemingly has no problem getting to the basket versus those guys. And that has to do with his overall skill and his great finesse ability. As if you watch the games, Luka always plays at his pace, and he loves changing that pace from very slow to very quick, and vice versa. And that overall change of pace makes Luka seem faster than he really is, and it's a tremendous advantage versus the elite defenders. And it's one thing for the film to back this up, but the stats also back this up tremendously. As for the 2021 season, Luka averaged 20.3 drives per game, that ranked second in the NBA. He averaged 12.2 points per game on drives, that was third in the NBA, and he shot an absurd 59% on drives. So clearly Luka is one of the best players at getting to the basket and finishing at the rim on drives. So that right there was 3 explanations of why Luka Doncic is nearly unguardable in the playoffs. His great pick and roll ability, how he handles double teams, and how he's great at driving to the rim and finishing at the basket. And I think going forward, Luka will continue to improve on those aspects and add more things to his offensive game, which is very scary for Western Conference teams. So that right there is the end of the video, and let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you think Luka Doncic is already unstoppable? Do you think I made a good argument of why he is unguardable? And how do you think he's going to evolve in the future and grow his offensive game? So as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.